As a life insurance agent who sells over the phone, if you're ever concerned about chargebacks or maybe your policy persistency not being where it needs to be, people aren't actually paying and making their first premium, they're falling off the books. If you've encountered any of these issues, please pay attention to this video because I'm going to highlight probably the number one key reason as to why that could be happening to you. Hello and welcome. My name is Ashley. I'm a final expense life insurance agent. I do sell remotely from the comfort of my own home. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and I get to crush it in this industry, but I am not a slave to this industry. So today I kind of want to highlight my number one key takeaway that you really need to understand if you're concerned about any of those things that I just mentioned, and that is pricing out the solution properly. It is not a good idea to kind of bucket a solution in final expense or really any avenue of life insurance for a family to, for example, to say a cremation will cost you anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 and then quote them 5, 7, and 10,000 because they might want that solution. The 7,000 might be what they want. However, unfortunately, that's not what fits their budget, but they go ahead and they say, okay, that's the solution. I'm going to purchase it. And then the third comes and there's no money in their bank and the policy never even starts. Or worse, they have it, they keep it for 2 months and they can no longer afford it and it falls off. Rather than trying to bracket solution price points for folks, I prefer to go the avenue of first finding their budget. Okay. So before I talk about, are you wanting a burial? Are you wanting a cremation? Before I figure out exactly the need we're trying to fill, I figure out what they can afford. So that sounds something like, okay, Mrs. Smith, these prices, they're sorted out in like ranges for me. So you got to kind of let me know where to start shopping at for you. Would you say anywhere between 100 and 120 a month is comfortable? Or is that a bit too much? I open the door for them to allow to tell me where their comfortable price range is. That way I am not putting them in a plan that they can't afford. And so typically, sometimes you might get that, oh yeah, that's fine. If you get a fine, then great. Go between 100 and 120 a month. But if you see any resistance or hesitation, that is it's too much. For example, if I say, is 100 to 120, is that comfortable and affordable for you every month? They're like, well, I might be able to do that, or I could make that work. That's they cannot afford it. That is a chargeback waiting to happen. I immediately go for the lower option. That's not a problem. I just want to make sure that no matter what we do is very comfortable for you, Mrs. Smith. So instead of like starting at 100 to 120, would you say maybe like 80 to 100? Is that better for you, or is that still kind of too much every month? Yeah, I could, but ideally do you have anything around 70? They might open up to you and let you know really what their maximum budget is. Either way, there's so many little nuances that could happen there. Your goal is to figure out and solidify that this is a comfortable price bracket so that when I'm in my quoter tool, I simply put between $60 to $80 price range. That gives me the coverage amounts. Now I can solution sell, right? I can find the gap and then I can fill the gap. For example, if I find out their gap is for $10,000, they want to leave extra money, no one can afford anything in the family, they'd have to do a GoFundMe. My solution sell would sound something like, okay, Mrs. Smith, so this option here, one of the options, I'm just going to give you one brief little highlight here. So let's say I'm pitching her a $10,000 option. Okay, Mrs. Smith, so this option here, this is what most families typically will do. Now, this is going to do everything that you need it to do. Okay. It is going to cover the 10,000 that we discussed that you needed for your burial, but it also leaves your daughter an extra $2,000 to help her out. So this is a total of 12,000 in total coverage. And it is within that comfortable range. It's at like $72.03. That's why I approach things the way I do. I first find out comfortability. And when I tell you at my level carrier, I recently looked, I'm at 93% persistency. So over 90% of everyone that I place, I have stayed on the books. They have not left. And that's because I find them the good solution. I find what works for them, and I explain it to them in such a way where they have total peace of mind when they get off the phone. They know that they're not overpaying for anything and that the need, the gap that they had is completely filled up. So hope you found this super helpful and insightful. If you're looking for a great script, this verbiage that I just covered with you is in my script. The link is below. Download it. It's free. Please use it. Get better at the craft on the phone. I want you guys to show up for yourself. I want you to be better today than you were yesterday, because there's freedom in life insurance telesales. You don't have windshield time. You're not doing the 9 to 5 grind, and you can actually make a killer living in the space. So comment below. If you liked this, give it a big old thumbs up. If you also want to increase your persistency with your clients, smash that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.